A story that we have in our culture about our relationships with nature um, might be the giving tree. When we perceive that what other beings, including non humans, have to offer us, and we go from the lens of our cultural lens about nature, then we perceive that we just take, and we can take as much as we want. And we can see in the giving tree story that eventually wears away that support system that nature offers, right? That this tree gets cut down over time to become a stump. And in the story, the tree is fine with that. And as a kid, that always really bothered me. The tree there is also a metaphor for mother, for how do we mother, and there's an idea inside of it that we give and give and give and give until we have nothing left. And is that the kind of relationship we want to have with nature? So there's an alternate story out there of the giving tree where she refuses to give up her limbs. She refuses to eat away at herself in order to provide for this boy, so that in the end both of them still exist, right? And that the boy has some responsibility in the story for his own wants and needs, and that extraction is not the way for him to get them. Instead, for him to build in some sustainable way the things that he needs. And so without exploiting nature, without tearing it apart until there's nothing left. And so I think this is an apt metaphor or cultural story that we already have in place, where we can reimagine or reconsider how we want this story to unfold. So when we're in parenting, we might want to consider the viability of ourselves over time. This leads us back to our capacity, right? The tree only has so much capacity to give. She only has so many limbs and so many apples and so many, pieces of wood. And the question becomes, who do they belong to? And the alternate story says all of that belongs to the tree, and that she can give what she wants. She can give the apples, and sustainably over time, she can give these apples to this boy, but not if the tree is cut down, not if there's a fundamental extraction happening, so that she's giving up her life force energy in the form of her limbs and her trunk. So we can just think about that a little bit as our, when we're trying to consider how do we want to be. Sometimes it's helpful to place that experience and play it out to its end in a story, rather than in ourselves, where we get so depleted first that we become shells of our former selves as parents. And it's pretty tempting in this world where we've been isolated and we don't have the allo parents, those other parenting adults in the around us to help us to raise a whole child for decades. So just a way to utilize a story to find our own truth in it. What feels true to you?